When you do anything worthwhile, it's best to start with a plan. A building starts with blueprints. A business starts with a business plan. And getting your finances in order should start with a plan as well, or a budget. My guest today is Rachel Cruze, and she says a budget doesn't have to feel restrictive and take away all our fun. Instead, a budget is permission to spend. It allows you to do the things you want, the things you value. You just have to plan on it and do it on purpose. Well, Rachel's going to give us some tips on creating that plan on today's One Simple Thing. Stay with me.
It's time to build a better business by building a better you. This is One Simple Thing.
Welcome back. Dave Kirby here. As again, I welcome Rachel Cruze into the studio, and we're going to get to the show in just a moment to dive into today's discussion on creating that money plan for your life. I want to say thank you for those of you who've left ratings and reviews recently. Gio from Metro Detroit said, I started listening to the podcast about a month ago. I'm a listener for life. I love the format, and all the guests have been wonderful as well. Thank you for that. Todd said, I must have my daily fix of One Simple Thing. A wide variety of incredibly informed guests always inspire and motivate me. Thank you for that, Todd. Also, Steve said the guests are well-spoken. This is a podcast I look forward to listening to. Keep up the great work. Thanks to all of you for leaving those 5-star ratings and reviews. Would you do likewise? If you haven't done so yet, it will help us grow this show. We'll be able to get more listeners because you leave a rating and review, because it helps us on the charts. More people discover it. So just go to our website, onesimplethingonline.com. In the menu, you'll see support the show. That'll take you to a page that's got links to help you leave a rating and review, and I'd sure appreciate it. Let's get into today's show. Rachel Cruze joins me once again. She is co-author, along with her dad, Dave Ramsey, of the #1 New York Times bestselling book, Smart Money, Smart Kids. Her new book is releasing in October of 2016. It's called Love Your Life, Not Theirs. And you can pick up your copy simply by clicking on the banner ad at onesimplethingonline.com. Also at the top of the show notes for today's episode, which is episode 544. Let's get into the show. Rachel, thanks for coming back here once again on the One Simple Thing podcast.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for having me back on.
We have talked about over the last few episodes the 7 money habits, and your book is called Love Your Life, Not Theirs. 7 money habits for living the life you want. And we've talked about those habits on the last episode. If you missed it, we went down all 7 of them and kind of gave an overview of what they might look like in your life. Today, and you mentioned this at the end of the last episode, right, that if the couple that you bump into more often than any of the others with people that you deal with is this idea of comparison and contentment. And then the second one is having a plan for your money or a budget, right?
Yeah, that's right. And those are the ones I personally bump up against too. Okay. Yeah, it was more me. I was like, no, these are the ones I struggle with. But also other people for sure. I'm not alone in the boat.
Well, it's got to be, I mean, you know, when you just look at culture around us, and I look at my own life and you look at your life, this idea of having a plan for our money, like being intentional about where our money's going to go, I know that's probably some people, that's old hat to them, and they're like, you know, tell me something I don't know, right? But if you look at the statistics, most of us don't operate like that.
That's right. And I find that a lot of people think they're doing a budget, but they're not. Like I hear a lot of people say, well, I pay off my credit card bill every month. You know, I'm doing a budget. I'm like, no, that's not a budget. Or, you know, I keep track of all my spending. I'm doing a budget. I'm like, no, that's not a budget. And so I'm very specific on what a budget is and what it is not. And so I think some people may just say it to make them feel good about themselves or believe it. Oh, well, I'm in control. You know, again, I just pay off my credit card bill every month. We're good to go. I'm like, no, there's so much more intentionality. You could do so much more with your money than just that. And so, but again, yeah, just like you're saying, though, some people really are living on a budget, which is great. But again, most people I find are not. And it's probably one of the biggest money mistakes we make. It's just not being intentional with where our money goes. And I always say that when you do a budget, you feel like you got a raise. And so that's what people say is as they start doing this budget, it's like, oh, wow, they found so much money because we can just spend money so easily. I'm like, you know, driving through Starbucks or walking into Target, which is like the black hole of goodness. You know, I walk in, I'm like, oh, my gosh, I could just spend hundreds of dollars here.
For me, it's the Apple Store.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh, that too, right? And the new iPhone coming out, it's like you walk in and you're like, I can just do anything.
I can hear angels singing when I see that thing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right. It's heaven on earth.
So one of the, I think, probably misconceptions I know I've had over the years about budgeting, or that other people have too, is that, I mean, you mentioned Starbucks. It's like, if I set a budget, then I'm not ever going to be able to go to Starbucks ever again. But that's not necessarily true, right? We can spend our money, and we go back to that thing that I quoted your dad on, right? It's your money. You could spend it however you want. You just got to have a plan. You got to spend it on purpose. So if going to Starbucks every day is a valuable part of my life that I don't want to give up, well, that's okay. I've just got to build it in there and realize that money's got to come from somewhere.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I like to look at the budget as permission to spend. It allows you to do the things you want and do the things you value. You just have to do it on purpose, just like you're saying. And so we said this earlier in an earlier podcast, but it's true. And it also just makes your spending more enjoyable, because when you go to Starbucks, you're not thinking, oh, am I just wasting, this $5? I probably should put, oh gosh, you're second guessing yourself. No, you can get that drink and enjoy it because that's what you planned for. And so, yes, it does have to come from somewhere there. So that means that other categories may have to lower for you to up the Starbucks category. But if that's what you choose to do, then you definitely can. But again, it's just the intentionality behind the spending.
Or it's going on the guilt-free vacation, right? It's knowing that I'm not leaving the cable bill unpaid because I went on a vacation I knew I shouldn't have gone on.
Amen. It takes the guilt and the shame out of I think money in general, because again, being in control, you're able to say, hey, I saved up for this. This is what we're choosing to do, and we can go and spend and enjoy. My husband and I, we just did this actually a few weekends ago. We did a kind of a last-minute trip to the beach before my fall travel season got crazy, and we had some money saved that we were saving for a vacation later down the year, so we decided to take this fund instead and take a smaller vacation, which we did, but we chose to do that. And it was like, hey, the money was there. We didn't have to feel guilty about it or bad for it. We were able to spend it and enjoy that time.
You think about a budget and just keeping track of our money, and it eliminates so many of the mistakes we'll make, like overdrafting our checking account or making having to pay a late fee on a bill. I mean, just one overdraft fee of like $35 or whatever. I mean, there's 7 lattes right there at Starbucks, correct?
That's right. That's exactly seriously. Right. No, it's true. And so much of our mistakes, you're exactly right, is just not being it's just organization to that point. And so for me, I'm like, I always tell people, make your budget visual, because so many people have their numbers in their head and they say, oh, well, I know this is what we're going to spend. It's there. I'm like, no. You're never going to hit that goal if it's just floating around your head. You want hard, fast numbers, either on a sheet of paper, you can get that out, or I use an app called EveryDollar, which I love. And so it's a budgeting app, and it's just right there on my phone. My husband, we share the login information, so even when we're on the go, we can change it and move and go, and it's awesome. And so having things in front of you is key, and so making it visual is part of doing a budget that you have to have. And a budget really is it's pretty simple. It's really just your income minus your expenses equals 0. So every dollar coming in is assigned to a category, and that's monthly. And so sitting down, and we talked about earlier in another interview of with your spouse, and if you're married, sitting down together and agreeing on where your money's going. It's such an important part of this. And so, back to the organization idea. It's organization, having it though with you, because our world today, we're so on the go, it's constant. And so being able to change and influx on the go is having that convenience is so important.
I know your dad talks about like the envelope system, right? Where you get the cash out, you put it in the envelope, and for those impulse things like eating out or whatever. And when the money's gone, you don't eat out anymore, right? Are you a proponent of that as well? And is there a way to do that electronically where I don't have to carry envelopes around with me?
Well, I would say EveryDollar, the app I'm talking about, it does connect to your bank account. So there is a sense that, yes, it can kind of be virtual envelopes, if you will. But if you're just starting out budgeting, I would say still go the old school principle way and cash out those categories that you tend to overspend on. And so for me, all the ladies out there listening, I hate carrying around big chunky envelopes. I have a thing called the clip system. So I cash out the categories I tend to overspend on, put it in a clip, and I have it in my wallet. And I'm actually having my own wallet come out so soon. So on RachelCruze.com, I'll be having a product for that, because I think it is so important and it's so key and so vital to our spending habits. If you can have actual cash, it really is a good accountability partner for you. Now, if you've been doing a budget for 10 years or whatever in your past, the cashing out for each category, that's totally fine. Yeah. Having your budget hooked up to your electronic checking account or something is great. But I do love the idea of the envelope system still. The clip system is what I call it.
That's a great idea. You just put a paper clip on that batch of money. Do you put like a Post-it note or something on it so you know what category that is for?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah,
okay.
Pretty simple, but just like a little binder clip, and I just clip it on. So for me, I have groceries, out to eat, personal, and clothes, and so those are the categories that I cash out. And so it's just it's right there. And so when I go shopping, I have the cash, and when it's gone, it's gone, and it hurts my heart, which means I can't go shopping anymore for that month.
As long as there's money in that clip, you can spend it guilt-free, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, it gives you such a permission to spend. Gives you the permission to do it.
The Rachel Cruze wallet coming soon.
Yes, that's right. It'll, I think, be here. Everyone's probably going to kill me for announcing. I'm announcing a little early, but that's okay, Dave. I like you, and I'm so excited about it. Yeah, I think you can actually buy it October 31st is when they'll ship out.
Oh, that's great.
I think, yes.
Yeah, we'll tell everybody about that. So we're coming down to the end of this episode, and I know we've talked about comparison and contentment. We've talked about some of the other money habits. Today we're talking about budgeting. When it comes right down to it, what do you want to communicate to us? What's the most important thing, the most important message we're going to get out of your book?
Well, the comparison theme is definitely throughout it. And I think that's what some people are struggling with today in our world is, again, this idea of just comparing your life to everyone else. And so being able to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to learn to love the life I'm in. I'm going to create good money habits around that to support that. But I'm going to get to a point where I'm happy and I'm thankful and I'm grateful for where I am today. And so I would say that contentment foundation, if you will, is a big theme in the book, and something that's so important for our culture today. And again, building on top of that with good money habits will help you get to the life you want and you have goals for, and give you peace in the present, I believe, because you're taking control of your money, but using money as a tool to get you to a place in your life where you're content and you're happy.
Yeah, so it starts with that baseline of I'm living my life. I'm not living everybody else's life. I'm not going to live the life that I see other people living or what I feel like society is pressuring me into. I'm going to live my life, and now I'm going to build habits on that decision that are going to help me do that.
That's exactly right. Yes, giving people the power over their life in that sense and their money. And so it's exciting because, again, money is a talk. We talked about this earlier, but money is a topic because so many people feel inadequate. They feel intimidated by. They don't even know where to begin. And so with the book, I really walk them through tactical, step-by-step principles and habits, again, to build on their life, to get them to a place where they can do the things that they value and do the things they want in their life.
Awesome. Rachel, I sure appreciate you being with me. I'm really excited to share this with my audience. We'll tell everybody about the book in a second, but hopefully we can do it again sometime in the future. And good luck on the book.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.
And on the wallet.
Yes, I know. I announced it. I don't know if that was okay, but we'll play it because I'm very excited about it. It's great, but it does the whole clip system that we talked about. So,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, me too. Will you come out with a men's version eventually too?
I know I should.
Yeah,
I mean, my dream would have a whole line of products, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, Rachel, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Rachel Cruze, my guest again today on the One Simple Thing podcast. We will keep an eye out for her release of that new wallet product and make sure and let you know when it's available. Her book is called Love Your Life, Not Theirs. It's available right now. You can pick it up by clicking on the banner ad at onesimplethingonline.com. Right on the right-hand side of the page, you'll see the banner. Or if you're not listening to the show in real time, just go to the show notes for today's episode. That's 544, episode 544. And you can pull up the show notes and you can click on the banner that's at the top of that page as well. Hey, thank you for listening. If you'd like to contact me, my email address is dave@onesimplethingonline.com. That's Dave with the number 1 in there, dave@onesimplethingonline.com. Also, I've set up a texting number. If you'd like to shoot me a text message, I get them on my phone. I'm thrilled to be able to chat back and forth with you. The number is 615-436-2626. 615-436-2626. Would love to talk to you. That's it for today's episode. I'm Dave Kirby. Thanks for being here. I'll see you guys again next time on the One Simple Thing podcast.